Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are having a great new year, a great start to the new year. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let us not forget that. Okay, guys. Again, happiest of New Year's to every single last one, y'all. I know we didn't get to see each other yesterday. Definitely needed some time to just get some rest, try to get this cold out of my system. And spend some time with family and friends and all that stuff. So hopefully you guys are all doing well. Hopefully you rang in the new year in the best way possible around your loved ones and the people that you care about. Happiest of New Year's to every single last one, y'all. But it looks like there's something not so great going on in this case. And this was something I saw brewing, and I wanted to get to you guys about this. I just didn't know that there was going to do that they were going to do another press conference, which they just did just a little bit ago. So we have a little bit of catching up to do, and we got a lot to talk about. So we're going to get straight into it. So do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it to do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. I'm on all of them, guys. Well, I'm not on TikTok. I need to edit that. I'm not on TikTok right now, but I'm on everything else. So make sure you hit that follow button over there. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on my main channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. Subscribe to Pascal Raw, because there's going to be some new stuff coming very soon on that channel as well. So make sure you subscribe there too. All right? That'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right? But we've got to get into this conversation, okay? Here's the thing. Subscribe. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Support over there if you want to. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. Here we go. Now, there's something I need to address because I'm seeing some comments in the chat, and I'm just going to address it right now. Okay? So I put up the alert. Like, I don't know how I'm late. Just so you know, I don't know how I'm late if there's no time schedule. So I'm not technically late, guys. I'm always late. No, I'm letting you guys know, because it takes a second for the alerts to get out to you guys. Sometimes you guys don't get alerts for 30 minutes when I go live. So sometimes I let it sit there while I get some more time to do my research, get everything together, and then I go live. So technically, I'm not late. I put the thing out, and I don't have a scheduled show. This is all breaking news stuff. So just so you know, just letting you guys know that I'm not always late. I put it out there for a little bit to give you guys time to get in there, to get ready so that we can start the show. Okay? If I was doing a scheduled show, then let me know. Okay? Just let me know. Then let me know and give me hell about being late. But if I'm putting up the show and it's breaking, I'm not late. So, just so you know, there's a method to this madness. So just be patient, hang out, and then we're going to get the show started, okay? But we're here to talk about this, all right? Because we all care, and we all want to know what's going on with this situation. We have a 4-year-old boy missing right now by the name of Jonathan Everett Boley. He is 4 years old. I know there's been a lot of conversation on trying to figure out if he's 4 or 5, and apparently an auntie on social media apparently confirmed that he is not 5. He's about to be 5, but he's actually 4 years old. All right. Now, he was last seen on the 7,000 block highway of Highway 195 in Jasper, okay? And this is all in Alabama, just so you guys know. And of course, a lot of people are believing that he is in some serious danger. Now, one thing before I get ahead of myself, or let me just get ahead of myself. Apparently, there were boom boom devices found on the premises of his father's home, strewn throughout the property, which makes no earthly sense whatsoever. I'm just going to say that really quick. It's pretty wild. And that's one of the reasons why, as you can see in the title above or down below, wherever you're watching this show, the father has been arrested. I'm going to do another dun dun dun. But before you guys get, before you guys start going, oh, it's because in connection of him missing, this little boy, Jonathan, missing. No, actually, just so you know, he's been missing, and his father being arrested has nothing to do with his missing case. It actually has to do with connections to these explosive devices, and all that too. Now, I know everybody and their mama, even including myself, is side-eyeing the father. But this kid has not been found yet, and there's been a massive search that has started since New Year's Eve looking for this little boy, 4-year-old Jonathan Everett Boley. I'm just going to be calling him Jonathan from this point on. All right, just so you know. Now, just so you guys know, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different things because some people don't know what's going on. And yes, I was going to say that too in a little bit, but I will say that now, Tina Powers. Thank you so much for that as well. The dog that apparently would come over to visit, if I'm correct, that's the thing I'm trying to understand. I think it's a dog that would just come over, like a neighbor's dog would come over and visit. That dog is missing too, which is weird. That's very strange, right? So again, this whole case is very odd. And it seems like the father, Jameson, his name is Jameson, he doesn't seem like he's right either. He only gets to see his kid 5 times a year. So in one of these 5 days that he gets out of the entire year, or out of these 5 times out of the year, he gets to see his son. His son ends up missing under his surveillance. Then also you look at the explosive devices that have been strewn about his property, which makes no earthly sense whatsoever. It automatically makes you wonder what is up and what's going on. So just so you know, this particular missing child, this emergency missing child's alert also says that this young boy, Jonathan Boley, was last seen wearing a yellow Mickey Mouse shirt, black pants, and Paw Patrol shoes. So now, of course, Walker County Sheriff's Office receives a call around 12:30 p.m. The call, of course, reporting him missing, according to that reporting that cites that the sheriff, of course, that's what the sheriff has been putting out in these press briefings as well. Okay. Now they have been searching high and low. They have been on air. They have been on ground, searching every nook and cranny they can think of, trying to find this little boy, but they have not found this boy at all. Okay. They believe that maybe they believe that maybe he was with reports are saying that he was with his 6-year-old brother, okay, and the and the family dog as well, all right, around the time that this boy went missing. So the family dog and himself gone. But 6-year-old brother was apparently out there with them playing with with Jonathan. And now Jonathan is nowhere to be found. Okay? So Buck is the dog's name. Thank you so much for that as well. Like I said, I'm just learning about the details about this case as well. We're learning it as we go today as well. All right? So again, it's very, 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 very strange. And this all happened on New Year's Eve day. And now he's nowhere to be found. So, of course, they've been using tools like thermal imaging throughout the night, but they have not been finding any type of heat signature. Then yesterday, safety issues, I guess apparently during the search, during search activities and all that, near the father's property, authorities located items to be described as explosive devices or materials. The search is temporarily halted, okay, suspended while the scene is made safe and investigated. Then, of course, the father's taken into custody. And of course, they said it's because of these devices that were found strewn about the property, which is strange. All right. And of course, he was, charged with in connection with these explosive related discovery, completely separate from this child's investigation. So this is all very strange stuff, guys. Okay. This is all very, very strange stuff. Dog is missing. This baby boy is missing. They don't know what's going on. And they're still trying to find this little boy. One report says that 8 devices recovered across from the property were later determined not to be explosives by the FBI. So that's very interesting as well. So again, there's a lot of people that are looking at this case. There's a lot of people that are very concerned, a lot of people that are talking about this particular case and wanting to know exactly what happened here. This kid is still nowhere to be found. There's been a lot of updates. There's been a lot of information. There's been a waterfall of press conferences over the last couple days. I mean, literally, like, as soon as this kid was reported missing, there was a press conference. Then there was another press conference, and they just had another press conference as soon right before I went live here. Okay, which is absolutely insane, by the way. Live, and I was on time. Okay, guys, just a joke. But moving on, it's very interesting, nonetheless, that we are hearing that the father has been arrested, but he's not arrested in connection to his son's disappearance, but because of things that were uncovered or recovered or even discovered during their search, trying to find this baby boy. And there's information about Jamison Boley that's it's creepy. I'm not going to lie. It's very creepy. Given the fact that he's only allowed to see his kid 5 times out of the year is insane. Clearly tells me that something ain't right here. Because you think that if you have some sort of custody over your child, you'd be able to get, 50-50 or something of that sort, right? But no, he only gets this kid 5 times a year. That tells you something, guys. Also, he's ex-military. Let's not forget that as well. Jamison Boley is ex-military. Let's not forget that as well. But we're going to get into all that. And yes, I agree, Kelly P. It is sus as hell. I'm going to say it because it's sus. All right. But let's get into some of this. This is from the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency Communication Information Center. This is what they put out. Obviously, his missing status is very much active. He went missing on New Year's Eve day. So the Walker County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's assistance in locating Jonathan Everett Boley. Jonathan Boley is a 4-year-old white male with blonde hair, blue eyes. We just saw the photo, but I'll put it up here in a second again, just so you guys can see it with your own 2 peepers as well. He was last seen on December 31st, 2025, just a few days ago, New Year's Eve day, at approximately 11:30 a.m. on the 7,000 block of Highway 195 in Jasper. Jonathan Boley was last seen wearing a yellow Mickey Mouse shirt, like I just said earlier, but I'll say it again. Yellow Mickey Mouse shirt, black pants, and Paw Patrol shoes. If anyone has any information regarding the whereabouts of Jonathan Boley, please contact the Walker Sheriff's Office at 205, area code 205 384 7218, or just straight up call 911. I think that's the easiest number to remember. But if you are in the Walker County area, please make that phone call, 205 384 7218. Now, here's a few things. Of course, he is a Caucasian male. He is 4 years old. He's got blonde or strawberry blonde hair, blue eyes. He is weighs about 50 pounds. He is 4 years old, like we said before, and he was last seen in Jasper, Alabama. I think this is all very important information to remember. Okay. Now we're going to get into a couple more things, of course, but there has been a lot of information coming out, which has just been insane. But let's see this. This is just a little bit more information revolving around this case. So the search for Jonathan Boley, a 4-year-old boy who was last seen Wednesday morning in Jasper, continues. Police say Boley was last seen on New Year's Eve by his 6-year-old brother entering a wooded area behind their father's home in Thatch. He was last seen with their pet dog. Now, again, let me repeat this. 6-year-old brother saw him behind the house, entering a wooded area behind the house. 6-year-old brother with their pet dog. Now, I want this to be abundantly clear. I'm hoping that they're interrogating or asking questions to the 6-year-old brother. I know he's 6, but I'm sure there's a lot of information he can answer. Not only just like, yeah, I saw him go behind or go into this wooded area. He might know some more information. And it does make you wonder, could he not be saying things out of fear? You see what I'm saying? Like obviously everybody's looking hard side eye at the dad, right? Everyone's side eyeing the dad right now. Okay. In fact, I do have a photo of him. Where is that? Let me pull up a photo of the dad. Here he be. Here he is. That's Jameson Boley. Now, let's just talk about this for a second. 6-year-old brother sees his 4-year-old brother allegedly walk into this wooded area with their family dog, with Jameson's dog. And he's never seen or heard from ever again. I got questions. Because instantly I think, well, does the 6-year-old brother know more than he's letting on? Because you got to remember, there's plenty of things that the 6-year-old may know, but is too afraid to speak on it because he doesn't want to get his dad in trouble. If the dad has something to do with it, I'm just saying, because I know everybody is looking at the dad, right? Could it be that 6-year-old knows some information, but isn't willing to speak out on that information because he's worried about getting his dad in trouble, or for him, like getting himself in trouble with the dad? Here's the other thing too. Just another piece of information, or just to circle back on this piece of information. They only get to see their dad 5 times a year. They only get to see their dad 5 times a year. That should tell you something too. That should instantly tell you something, guys, right? Five times a year, daddy gets to see his kids 5 times a year. And that's it. That's it. And then under his supervision, his youngest or one of his youngest just walks into a wooded area with dog and disappears into the New Year's Eve afternoon. Does that make any sense to you? Like I said, I'm hoping that they're bringing in that 6-year-old brother and they're asking him. Of course, I'm not sitting here going like, where were you? Like, you know, they got to be nice to the kid. He's only 6. But I'm hoping that they're able to do some good cop approach to the 6-year-old boy and see if he can say a little bit more. And what I also find weird is the dog gone too. The doggone dog gone too. That seems strange. See, this is the moment when I'm wondering did anybody hear any shots go off? Did anybody hear the dog barking, whimpering, or anything of that sort? Now, TND just said, TNDJ just said, isn't the 6-year-old autistic? That's news to me. I don't know. That would be news to me. I mean, like I said, I'm learning about this as I go as well with you guys, right? I only know the basis of it. And there's been a lot that has happened over the last 24 hours, which we are going to cover here, right? But I do think it's interesting that if he is autistic, that might be a factor, or the boy might not be. I don't know. That's a question I don't know. I don't know. But let's get back into, let's take a look at this, okay? Last seen with pet dog, right? That's strange. Pet dog is missing. That does not make sense. So police say they have been using drones, helicopters, and canines to search the area. So far, no signs of Boley have been found. That's strange. Unless some random creepazoid was lurking in the forest, in this wooded area, and then pounced when the kid went in there. You never know. The kid might have been lured into that wooded area by some sort of, disturbing degenerate in the woods going, hey kid, come on over here. You never know, right? But that is strange that he just went in there and he disappeared without a trace. That's strange. Hundreds of volunteers showed up Thursday to help search for Boley. Walker County Sheriff Nick Smith said the volunteer search was suspended due to safety concern after at least 8 potential explosive devices were found. 8 potential explosive devices were found on his property, the father's property, and in the woods across the street from his home. So, but see, that's what I mean. Why? Why? Why would he have boom boom devices strewn about his property and in the woods across the street? What was he worried about? What was he trying to protect, or what was he trying to hide? That's the thing I'm actually curious about, right? Smith later reported that none of the devices found across the street from the home were found to be explosive, but the ones that were on his property are explosive. Okay, volunteers were flagging potential things that they thought might be explosives. We have identified across the street that none of those items flagged were explosives, but he ain't talking about the ones that are on his property. So according to Smith, the volunteers were on the lookout for boom boom devices, okay, due to these devices that were found inside. Oh, snap. These devices were found inside Jamison Boley's home. What in the what? We had to back out of the house due to some devices or, explosives, materials inside the house that made it dangerous for law enforcement to continue a search of the residence. Neighbors, have identified that there has been a lot of explosions in the neighborhood prior to us being there. Could this kid possibly have stepped on something that went off? Could this kid possibly stepped on something alongside the dog Buck that went off, taking their lives? But see, you'd think that they said prior to the police being there, they said that there was a lot of explosions in the neighborhood. So could he have stepped on something that went off, and that's why they can't find him? And maybe the 6-year-old boy, the 6-year-old brother, really saw him go into the woods, and that's the truth. And then something went off, and that's why he's nowhere to be found. But you'd think that an explosion like that, that would have to leave some remnants of something, right? Think about that for a second. Wouldn't that leave a whole lot of something everywhere? I hate to put that thought in your minds, but I'm saying just think about it for a second. You mean to tell me that kid steps on thing, it goes boom, like what? It just vaporized him and the dog? Everything? Bones and all? No, there's gonna be splatter everywhere. The kid or whoever was to step on something like that, they would be everywhere, right? So why aren't dogs going in and not smelling any of that? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know if that actually happened. But obviously something happened to this kid. What is it? But again, if he stepped on something and went boogoosh, he'd be everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think it's that. The dogs would be going crazy, being like, the sniffer dogs and the canine units out here, they'd be going crazy. He's here, he's here, he's here. Oh my gosh, he's everywhere, right? If he had stepped on something that went boom. So I don't think it's that. I don't think that's what that was that. But then at the same time, if you really think about it, there's other factors to think about. What okay, this is so crazy to even think about it, but if the thing went off and if he stepped on a thing and that thing went off and he was everywhere, right? The father's going out there and retrieving every bit of him? I doubt it. I don't think he'd be able to successfully get every bit of him, right? So there would be a trace of him somewhere, unless this happened days before he went missing and it rained a whole bunch in between time. I don't know. Something, like I said, I just don't think that happened. I really don't. And I know other people are going, well, maybe he stepped on something and it went off. Yeah, I had to exercise that theory. I just don't think it's possible. They would have found him everywhere. Real talk. But Jameson Boley, the father, was taken into custody for charges related to explosive materials. He was not charged with anything related to his son's disappearance yet, because I think everybody and their mom is side-eyeing this dude right now, and rightfully so. I feel like any situation where it's the parent, the kid, maybe another kid, are in the home, and the kid goes missing, and it's under that person's supervision, yep, 9 times out of 10, everyone's side-eyeing that parent that was supervising that child. Period. Okay? Period. But outside forces could be involved in this situation as well. We have covered so many different cases where a kid runs off into the woods and we instantly start looking and start side-eyeing the parents, only to find out that the child was found in a river, gone a mile and a half down the way, right? So it's natural for us to go, well, the last person to see this kid alive is such and such. So we are looking at that person until they give us other factors. And then I wonder about the geographical location. Was it by a lake? Was it by a large body of water of some sort? A river, a lake, a pond, what have you? But why would the dog go in with the kid? If the kid fell into a river, I just don't think, for example, if the kid fell into a river, I just don't think the dog would just jump right in with him. So I think something nefarious definitely happened here. Where's the dog? The dog's gone too. Something ain't right. Right? The dog didn't come running back home doing the whole Lassie bit. You know what I mean? What's going on, Lassie? There's a fire? Where? You know what I mean? Lassie, Buck, ain't back too. So something ain't right here. All right? Definitely, I feel a man, person, whoever had some sort of hand in making this kid disappear. And that's what I'm thinking too. I keep thinking that maybe the dog saw something. That sounds crazy. It's not like the dog can talk, but you get what I'm saying. Maybe the dog reacted. Maybe the dog was trying to protect Jonathan, something of that sort. And then, you know, he was taken care of too. I don't know, but something ain't right here, guys. Something definitely ain't right. But let's move on. Over 5,000 acres, April said. Shoo. Okay. Shoo. Let's continue, though. So, of course, he was taken into custody because of these related to these explosive devices, but not because of his son's disappearance. Okay. Like we said before, he was last seen on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve day. I'm sorry. The FBI is assisting to ensure the scene is safe before authorities execute a search warrant. So, but this was when they reported this was first posted on the 1st. And then, of course, there was updates because when I had this up, because I had this up from yesterday, ready to talk to you guys about this today, this right here said 5. They said that he was a 5-year-old kid, but obviously that has been fixed. So that's why it's been updated as of late. Okay. So, of course, I'm assuming that they've probably cleared the room or cleared the house and cleared the area. And so now they're back to searching the area so that, you know, no one steps on anything that goes off. Authorities have used drones equipped with thermal imaging, but have not detected heat signatures indicating the child's in the woods. So the sheriff also added that Boley's 6-year-old brother last saw him crossing under a fence. So he says, I will say this, that, you know, we've been going on now well over 24 hours of looking for the child. And we have not gotten really any indication of the child being in the woods. We've got no thermal, no imagery from helicopter and drones. Ground searches haven't revealed anything to my knowledge. Or if it has, it's nothing that the command has made me aware of at this time. So again, they have found zero, zilch, nada, bupkis, zippity dook da out there trying to find Jonathan. So the main question is, this is when I do my Nancy Grace, where is Jonathan? I guess that's what we all want to know, right? Where the heck is Jonathan? This is a very, very strange and odd and heartbreaking situation. We're going to be looking at a couple videos so we can get some more information. Of course, talking about the search. There's been quite a lot of searches as of late.
I know.
Boy, yes, I know, Auntie Aunt Nene. Okay, watch me whip, watch me Nene. Aunt Nene. Anyway, yes, we do know about the press conference. We're going to be looking at that too. We're going to look at one of the ones that they had yesterday, and then we're going to look at the one that just came out just a little bit ago. So I know about about the press conference. Like I said, I was waiting for the press conference to be done. I was getting some more information for you guys, and then went live. So yeah. But we are going to be keeping an eye on this case because, of course, every child should be, well, first off, every child should be in their loving parents' arms, but loving parents that are keeping them safe arms. I'm just going to say that. I'm sure this guy, I would assume, loves his child. Mm, uh, because I'm side-eyeing the hell out of this dad. But at the same time, you would hope that every child would be in the arms of parents that want to keep their child safe. Period. Let's take a look at this.
And good evening. Welcome to the 4 o'clock show. My name is Ashanti Ford, and we're actually going to go right over to Gracie Johnson. She's been following a story on a missing person. And Gracie, talk to us more about what you found out today.
Ashanti, this remains an active and very fluid investigation. Deputies tell us the child, 5-year-old Jonathan Boyle, was last seen yesterday, December 31st, around 11:30 a.m. And as of right now, no sign of the child or his dog have been located.
We've been going on now well over 24 hours of looking.
This is part of the press conference we are going to be looking at. It is very, very short, but we are going to be looking at this particular press conference here very shortly. So just stay tuned.
For the child, and we have not gotten really any indication of the child being in the woods. We've got no thermal, no imagery from the helicopter and drones. The ground searches hasn't revealed anything to my knowledge. If it has, it's nothing that Instant Command has made me aware of at this time.
The sheriff's office says the search has been underway around the clock with K9 units and drones deployed since around 1:15 early this morning. Smith says the child's father has been charged, though the sheriff is stressing that those charges are not related to the child's disappearance. He says the father is former military and neighbors have reported hearing explosions for weeks, unsure of where they are coming from. Deputies also confirmed they do have a search warrant, but say they've not been able to execute it yet because crews are still working to make sure the property is safe.
During the search, and we have suspended the search for civilians. We've asked them to refrain from searching at this time until we're able. We have identified at least 8 other potential explosive devices. We do not believe that they're charged, but I cannot say that to be sure until they're examined by the FBI bomb explosives team.
Sheriff Smith is currently in a briefing with the FBI. He says as soon as that briefing concludes, he will come out and give us an update. We will bring you that update live in Walker.
Okay. So let's take a look at the press conference that they had yesterday. Like I said, it's very short. It's less than 10 minutes. But don't worry, we're going into the press conference that happened today, just a little bit ago. So we are going to look at that here shortly. Please do me a favor, though, guys. Make sure you hit that like button down below. Crush that like button, please, and thank you. Hit that reaction button if you are watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you're hitting that follow button. Subscribe. Make sure you do that as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. So we're going to take a look at this, and let's rock and roll.
We got a call about a missing 4-year-old. Turned out to be a missing 5-year-old at 12:28 yesterday. Once law enforcement deputies got on the scene, they cleared the residence with RPS just to make sure that the children wouldn't hiding in the house. Once we were able to determine that the children wouldn't hiding inside the residence, we got our drones in the air, aviation support from Aaliyah, Jefferson County. So we've been working ground crews since about 1:15 and drones and aviation using thermals and things of that nature. Used Donaldson K9s yesterday. We went all the way through the night to about 3 o'clock in the morning. The aviation went to refuel. We started back up this morning. This morning, we had an overwhelming response of individuals from the community, surrounding communities, who wanted to come out and help search and help us find this missing 5-year-old. Now, as far as an update, obviously this morning when we briefed, we made sure that people understand the father has been charged. It's nothing to do with the connection of the missing child. It's something totally separate, but it's still a factor that is hindering our search. Okay, we have a search warrant for the property that they're having to take care of some explosive devices before we can actually get inside the residence and start doing a thorough search. There's been evidence of explosive devices on the property during the search, and we have suspended the search for civilians. We've asked them to refrain from searching at this time until we're able. We have identified at least 8 other potential explosive devices. We do not believe that they're charged, but I cannot say that to be sure until they're examined by the FBI bomb explosives team. So
I hate to break this. I hate to stop this, but I have to keep asking this question. Why would there be any semblance of any type of explosive devices anywhere on any person's property? Why? Why would this person have those kind of things strewn about, not only just on the inside of his house, but on the outside of his house as well? Why? What is he trying to protect? Also, at the same time, it's like you got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. You don't think that these kids are going to be running around on the property being kids? What about your mother-loving dog? You don't think your dog you think your dog is just sniffing out? Oh, there it is. There's that explosive device. I ain't going over there. Hell no. No, the dog's going to do what they do. It's a dog. So you got three life sources, right, that are running around and being exactly how they're supposed to be. Adventurous, inquisitive, energetic children that want to explore everything around them. So why would you have anything that could go off anywhere near these children? These children should not have been at this man's home, period, point blank. And now this whole situation has happened. And I'm saying even if it has nothing to do with those explosive devices, right then, as soon as you find out that there are boom booms all over the place, hail to the no. No child should have been on the premises of that home ever. And if it is an outside entity, an outside source, outside evil energy that came in and infiltrated and took this child, then fine. That's still a possibility. But no matter what, this instantly throws up so many red flags. Just for the children's safety. Just for the children's safety. And that's the other thing too, Rose City. I'd like to know that too, dagnabbit. Where's the mama? Now, I understand she doesn't live in Alabama. If I'm correct, she lives in Florida. But at the same time, like, what the hell's going on here, man? What the hell's going on here, man? It makes no sense. This guy should not have had the visitation rights with these children 5 times out of the year. He shouldn't have. Because there could have been another tragedy. These kids their names could have been plastered on the front page of the local newspaper for other reasons. And it has nothing to do with Jonathan Boley's disappearance. Solely because of what he has inside and outside that home. Dear Lord, y'all. What is going on with our country? Damn.
So we've got those 8 spots that's across the street marked and identified, waiting on them to assess the situation.
And do you guys have any kind of indication on why these explosive devices may have been on the property to begin with?
The father's prior military. It's just something that neighbors have said they've been hearing explosions for weeks now. They didn't really know where it was coming from. The morning before the report came in, one of the neighbors reported that they heard an explosion about 4 a.m. that morning. They just didn't know where it came from.
Hold on. I want us to hear that. I know I read it in the article, but I think it's very, very, very important to hear this again. right? They say for weeks they heard things going off. Neighbors said that they heard explosions going off for weeks. What is the possibility of something happening and this kid getting caught in that situation? But I'm wondering now, why was a missing phone call made on New Year's Eve if the kid went missing weeks ago? Because from what I understand, if I got the timeline right, the dad made the phone call to police saying that his kid was missing. Am I correct with that? I could have sworn that that's what it was, right? So is it possible? I mean, I guess you could still keep on the table the possibility of this kid stepping on something that went off weeks ago. And, you know, we've been dealing with rain and snow and crazy, crazy weather lately over the past few weeks. So is it possible that something happened to him way before that? And maybe what his 6-year-old brother saw is the truth, but maybe it happened weeks before. And then, of course, you know, rain and all that, things wash away. He could pick up the remains for sure, and then hide those things. That's possible. Bury them somewhere completely different if it happened weeks before, right? Yeah, only 5 days of visitation a year most definitely is a sign. That's definitely a reason this man is off his freaking rocker, right? So again, could it possibly be that? But then it would make you wonder, why wouldn't the mom be asking questions about her son's whereabouts if this happened weeks before? You see what I'm saying? They have joint custody. I mean, it's very limited joint custody, but he only gets 5 days out of the year that he gets to see his kids. Mom lives in Florida. He lives in Alabama. What happened? And of course, if Jonathan lost his life weeks ago, Mama would have been already calling police way before that. You see what I'm saying? So that possibility is kind of off the table as far as this baby boy losing his life weeks ago. Because if this was a doting, caring, and loving mother, she would be asking instantly, "Where is Jonathan?" Weeks ago. So again, something ain't right. Something ain't right. Like the brother, the 6-year-old brother, gets to go home, but where's Jonathan? I would instantly be like, "Where's my son? What's up? Where's Johnny? Why is you're giving me the 6-year-old, our 6-year-old son, but where the heck is Johnny?" Instantly, I'm calling 5-0 if this happened weeks ago. So that's why I'm like, no, so something happened on New Year's Eve. Something most definitely happened New Year's Eve. What is it? Then I'm wondering, okay, checking any firearms, because if he had explosive devices, he clearly, I'm sure, is suited and booted all the way up to his nose with freaking bang bangs, with pew pews, with all kinds of firearms. I'm sure of it. So why aren't they looking? I'm not saying why, I'm hoping they're looking into any weapons that may have been discharged lately. You see what I'm saying? Looking into his weapons, all that. I'd be looking into every device, every firearm that's in that house, and just seeing if it's been used recently. Just saying that out loud. I just got to say that, but that's just insane. The explosive devices it gives me great pause, y'all. It gives me great pause. But let's continue.
From the morning before the report came in, one of the neighbors reported that they heard an explosion about 4 a.m. that morning. They just didn't know where it came from.
Hamburger.
I can't say that that's in any kind of connection to the missing child. I will say this, that we've been going on now well over 24 hours of looking for the child, and we have not gotten really any indication of the child being in the woods. We've got no No thermal, no imagery from the helicopter and drones. Ground searches hasn't revealed anything to my knowledge. If it has, it's nothing that Instant Command has made me aware of at this time. But other than the potential for explosive devices found on the other side of the roadway from the original property that we started at.
And are those 8 devices, are they near any homes, or is there any concern for the people who live on
Wooded areas. Yes.
Sheriff, you mentioned that the civilian search has been suspended, or law enforcement still out?
So right now it's law enforcement, first responders, fire departments. We're still doing our stuff. As far as just the citizens and volunteers that's come to volunteer, we're going to put that to a halt for right now.
Are you asking for anything? I know you're not asking for volunteers right now, but is there food donations, water donations, anything people can do to support them?
Yeah, so we do have a group of volunteers here that are accepting food, trying to make sure that everybody's here that's fed and hydrated throughout this process. And like I said, it's been an overwhelming response. Everybody's concerned about this child. Obviously, when you talk about the last 24 hours, the weather conditions and things of that nature, for it to be a 5-year-old out there is very concerning. And
I want to ask you about the dog that the child was reported to be seen away with. You mentioned that the last time the dog had been seen on a neighbor's camera was the 26th. Can you kind of just clarify that for me?
Yes. So the K9 has not been located as well. So the K9 is still missing. Talking to one of the neighbors, as that dog showed up pretty much every day on their game cameras at their corn feeder. The last time that he has the dog on his camera was on the 26th, the afternoon of the 26th.
And you mentioned at the beginning about children. So were there other children in the home with the father?
No, it was just the brother.
Okay,
it's 2 brothers, yeah, age 5 and 6.
And I know the parents
on their game cameras at their corn feeder. The last time that he has the dog on his camera was on the 26th, the afternoon of the 26th.
And you mentioned at the beginning about children. So were there other children in the home with the father?
No, it was just the brother.
Okay,
it's 2 brothers, yeah, age 5 and 6.
And I know the parents are separated. Did the father have custody of the children? Was he just taking care of them on holiday?
Yeah, to my knowledge, the custody situation was the father got 5 days of custody a year.
And has he been cooperative? Has he said anything throughout this?
I can't speak on that. You know, the FBI did an interview last night. Obviously, they will follow up once we get our timeline and everything in order. Well, they'll do some more in-depth interviews and see what we can come up with.
So they're getting cold again overnight. Is there any other plans to use those thermal drones again?
Yes. So the aviation landed. They're bringing their helicopter out of Montgomery to get started back up with the air searches and thermal searches. Yes.
Can you give us an idea of the number of resources that are here? Like, do you know how many total law enforcement? We're seeing a lot of different departments.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got agencies from, just the ones I've seen, and I'm sure there's some here that I haven't seen. We have the FBI here. We have SBI here. We have ALEA here. We have Summerton Police here, Jasper Police Department, Adamsville Police Department, Jasper PD. Just locally, I don't know outside in the Jefferson County what agencies that we have here. I've seen some Jefferson County deputies earlier.
We saw some connections to Florida on the mom's side. So is the boy from here, or is he from Florida?
No, the boys, the mother, from my knowledge, moved to Florida about a year ago, and the dad gets visitations. Like I said, my understanding of the visitations is 5 days per year.
I know the father that's been charged, you mentioned that there's no connection to disappearance. Is there any indications of criminal elements of this disappearance, or is it still too early in the investigation?
It's still too early to say one way or the other. Obviously, the concern is, as you can see, the resources that we have put into searching, the amount of people that we have had out searching, the grid patterns that we have searched. When you take the ground searching plus the air searches, the fact that we haven't found the child is concerning.
At this point, is it still a search, or is it turning more towards?
We're still going to remain optimistic, and we're going to call it a search.
And you mentioned that there were 8 explosive devices on this side of the road. Do you know how many yet were at the property? I
have not briefed. We're briefing here in the next 30 minutes or so with the FBI and all the agencies to kind of get that. Everybody is doing their own thing. The FBI has been processing the house, trying to get the explosive devices contained and out of the residence since, I guess, about 8:30, 9 o'clock this morning. So they're still working on that. So once we get everybody back in, all the agencies together and kind of go over what we have accomplished today and see where we're at and see what the next phase of this is going to be.
Sure. Can you give a plea to the public who lives in this area? You've been mentioning a lot about trail cams, deer cams, everything. Just want to give you a chance to kind of talk about how important it is to turn over that video and where to turn it to.
Yes. So right now we're working on a tip line with the FBI. That way individuals, and I will release that information when we get it available to where we can get a centralized where all the tips aren't getting spread out to everywhere, where there'll be a one hub of information we'll be able to go to, and they will be able to send it to that. I encourage the public to, one, if you live in this area, be vigilant, look under your cars. If you haven't drove them in a few days, look in your garages, look in your carports, look anywhere where a child would be looking to get, out of the elements.
And is the mother here? Have you spoken to her? How is she?
The mother did make it in last night from Florida. We have spoken to her, and she has cooperated with us to the best of her abilities.
How big is the search area?
I don't know exact mileage or, a route, at this present moment without talking to Instant Command. They're mapping. They got a mapping program that they're mapping everybody in their searches. We just out here working. We have a lot of resources out here. We're committed to doing everything that we can. We don't want people getting burnt out. I know that we have a lot of people that want to help and they're here. But what we don't need is people that are willing to volunteer to get here day one and day two and get burnt out, and this thing turn into a week-long search. And then we get toward the end of the week and we don't have additional resources and we don't have help from the community.
Yeah. Again, the community has been doing everything they can to help out and be a part of this search, which I think is really, really amazing. There's been a lot of people going out of their way to try to do everything they can to try to find Jonathan. But there is another press conference that I want to share with you guys. And this happened today. This happened we've been on for almost an hour. So this happened about an hour and a half ago. Roughly. So I want to share this with you guys as well. And it's him just giving us more updates, the sheriff giving us more updates about what's going on here. And Messi said something, and I know a lot of you guys have been reacting to it as well. And I agree. 5 days is massively different from 5 times a year. 5 days that's insane. Okay. Like 5 days only. Throughout the entire year, these two boys get to see their dad. 5 days. And that all can be done one time a year. You get that, right? Like, it's Christmas time, and so they go and see the dad for 5 days. Maybe a little bit more, depending on if the mom wants to allow them to be there a little bit longer than 5 days. But 5 days only is insane out of a whole freaking year. 365, and they only get to see their dad for 5 days out of that entire year. That's crazy. All right. I just want to say that too. What's going on with Dolly Vision? Is he there or something? No, I know Dolly Vision. Like, he cool. He all right. What is he on boots on the ground out there or something like that? I'm just curious. Oh, he's there live? Okay, cool. All right. Cool. That's good to know. Hopefully he's doing what he needs to do, right? To unearth what he needs to unearth. Okay. But that's good that he's joining in the search. That's a beautiful thing. I love seeing that. I love hearing that when people are out there doing what they can to help, right? So that's cool. I don't know where Dolly lives and where he's from and all that, but still, no matter what, the fact that he went out there is that's dope, right? But moving on, let's get into this press conference, all right? Because this just happened just a little bit ago today, and we got some more information. So let's take a listen.
And I need your help.
and it's kind of low.
Help to try to bring John home. Okay. There's some information that I want to give about John. John was last seen on December 31st around 11:30 a.m. In the 7,000 block of Highway 195. Jonathan is 4 years old. He has blonde hair, blue eyes. He is 4 foot tall. He weighs 50 pounds, and he goes by John. John was wearing a yellow Mickey Mouse shirt.
Hold on. Before we start saying, oh yeah, he's found and all that, by like, let's get a confirmation from police before we just start saying something that's not entirely true. Okay, guys? Real talk. I was just curious about what Dolly Vision's doing. You guys have been saying his name a lot in the chat, so I'm asking. I'm glad he's out there, boots on the ground. But of course, let's find out if police are actually responding to all that. And then, of course, when they make a statement, they will make a statement. Okay. So let's get back into hearing the facts here. Okay.
Black pants, Paw Patrol shoes, as you can look behind me on the screen. We have pictures for the community of John. We have pictures of the dog Buck, which is a lab mix retriever. We have pictures of the Paw Patrol shoes that was provided by his mother that he was wearing at the time he wandered off. It's just a few little things about John. He loves the outdoors. Him and his brother are very adventurous. I guess the best way to describe them is just boys being boys. They just outdoors kids, all boys. But it's John and his brother were out playing. John's brother said and identified the last place that he saw John and Buck. Now, we're very hopeful with the community support and that we have. I need the community to be out. I need you to be vigilant. Just because you may not necessarily be in this immediate area, I need everybody, and I mean everybody, in Walker County. Check your ring cameras, check your deer cameras, check your tree stands, check your deer houses, check your deer cameras. Look under your carports, your garages, your houses. John is 4 foot tall, so he's very small. He can get in tight places. If you got tunnels, caves on your property, get out and look and make sure that we're just not overlooking, and make sure that we're doing our due diligence to find this child. Now, I know that the father and the situation that's been going on that's secondary to me. My concern is finding and bringing home John. And this is just a plea as just your local sheriff, is to help us bring him home. Especially with him having a canine, it's very known that children that wander off in the woods with canine go a lot further than we anticipate or we think. There's been numerous stories over the years where kids have wandered off into the woods with their canine. I'm very hopeful that with Buck, if Buck and John are still together, I'm very hopeful that they're together. I know we've experienced some cold nights, but I'm hoping that with Buck and John, if they're still together, that they're able to stay warm. But I just can't stress enough about just how important that it is that to get John home. We've had a great support from the community, law enforcement. Yesterday, just alone, we covered about 500 acres, which was a lot of ground to cover yesterday. We had 161 volunteers, 126 law enforcement personnel, got over 100 volunteers today. And
press conference is happening right now, or it's about to happen. Hold on. Everybody, hold on, y'all. Let me see something here.
Lifelong citizen of this.
No, this is not it either. Hold on. Let us see. Because if there's another press conference going on, then that would be great. But the question is, has he been found? If he has been found, then that's great. I mean, I'm going to be real. If he has been found, then that's great bloody news. All right. Obviously, we want this kid to be found. That's the question. Has he been found alive? That's the other question too, right? Yeah, that's what I want to know too. Where is the verified? Who is the verified source, right? Who is the verified source for sure? That's the question I'm asking too, right? Because I'm looking and I don't see anything thus far, but I'm checking. I'm even going to check X. Hold on one second. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't see anything about any updates about him being found yet, but at the same time, that is great. If he's been found, then that's great. Nerdy Addict said he's found. Let's see. Damn. Oh, this is bad. There's another update from someone else saying that about Jonathan Boley's daddy, and that's not good either. We're gonna have to talk about that in a second. Give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to see if there's an update from. Let me see. Nerdy Addict. Hold on. If he's been found alive, that's great. But then it's like the dog never left his side type of thing. That would be amazing too. Okay, so about 3 minutes ago, Nerdy Addict just put up that Jonathan Boley may have been found safe. May have been found safe. Safe. Waiting official confirmation. So may have. They didn't say he is found safe. They just said may not have been, or may have been. I'm sorry, may have been found safe. But here's the thing. Of course, we want him to be found. Let's be real. We want him to be found. Hold on. I'm looking at a few things. Let me play a little bit of this. A little bit more of this press conference.
And I need.
Hold on. Damn.
And I need your help.
Where
Diligence
were we?
around your home. Just if you got Ring cameras, check them.
Hold on. Yeah.
If you got.
Hold on. I'm just going to play this so you guys can hear this. I'm looking for other
tree
things, okay?
Houses or blinds or tree stands on your property.
Exactly.
Check them.
We'll
Because
see.
He can fit in tight places.
Fantastic
He's gonna be
news.
A small child. He can fit in tight places. Also look for the dog. Like I said, he's very adventurous. Look in tunnels. Look in any kind of caves. Look if you've got a pond on your property. Search your pond. Okay. I want to make sure that we're doing everything to get him home. And I want to say first, I want to say that the media, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate that you're here. I appreciate that you care to help get this message out and help us get John home. So.
As a father, what's this like for you?
It's as a father, it's one of those situations that I've not been in the situation. So I want people to pray for this family, just like as me as a father. If I was going through this situation, going through any situation, really, I'd want the community support. I'd want the community behind me, and this community has rallied behind this family and this mother to help try to find John. And the family, including the dad, has helped trying to do everything they can to help provide information for us to do that.
Sure. Yesterday, you had mentioned that there was no indication, you found no signs of him in the woods. Is that any update you can give us on that? Has there been anything found in the woods about the search teams?
There's no new additional information on that.
Can you talk about the resources they're using today? still using helicopters, FLIR, everything that was implemented the past few days?
We're still using the same resources and ground searches and things of that nature. Yes.
How about the search area? Has that expanded?
We are looking to expanding the search area, and like I said, it's with him being with Buck, with John and Buck being together, and if he's following Buck, then there's no telling how far they could have traveled. Like I said, if you just look at stories across the state and the nation where children wander off, especially with the companion, canines, they wander off 2-3 miles, 4 miles. So we still have a lot of ground to cover, and that's why I want to stress to people in the county is just because you're not impacted in this small area doesn't mean that he couldn't be on your property. And
any reason to think he might be outside the county, abducted or anything like that?
not at this time.
What's his hair? I've seen photos with his hair down and with his hair bundled up. Do you know what condition his hair was in?
I don't know the condition of his hair whenever he wandered off, but he does have long hair, as you can see in the picture.
Is he age 4 or 5?
He is age 4. That is confirmed. Age 4. The father initially told us that he was 5.
Sheriff, we saw the
Oh, wow. Thank you guys so much for sending this to me. That's a big deal. Let me show this to y'all too. There is a photo that has been released, or this is just a still. I appreciate you sending this to me. It looks like he's been found, which is fantastic news, guys, if this is the case. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, wait, it might not be him. I'm going to show it to you guys anyway. Because shoot, I thought when I saw this still too, I'm like, oh snap, this. It looks like it could be him, but I could be wrong. This is them coming out of the woods with a boy, but it may not be him. They're saying it might be the brother. Why is the brother out in the woods then? What the hell's going on here? What? That makes no sense. No, that's his. Why is his brother out there by himself then? What in the what? What the what? What? That makes no what? That makes no sense. Hold on, I'll show it to you guys again, but at the same time, everybody's like, "Oh, they found him. It's him. It's him, everybody. Eureka." Is this not him? So they just have the same hairstyle. Hair's long, blonde, etc. Why would the boy be out there by himself? Good God. Like I said, yeah, this is when you wait for information to come from law enforcement. That's so frustrating. That's very frustrating. But let's continue on because this stuff is very important too. Why would the brother be out there in the woods all by himself? Where's the mama? Hasn't the mama come from Florida to Alabama to be here to try to find their son? Like real talk, that doesn't make any. Does this make any sense to anybody right now? If that's the boy, like I said, make that make sense. But let's continue.
I've met a team from home here that looked like they were heading down towards the father's house. Is there any reason for that, or were they just here as additional resources?
Just additional resources that I'm aware of at this time.
I know you said the father is helping you guys out. I know a question that the family had last night is if he was getting updates on the search, even though he is in jail. Can you give some information?
I can't speak on what all the investigators are updating him on. That's going to be a conversation that's taking place between investigations and the father.
Can you give us an update on the explosive materials found inside the father's home? Is that area still being kind of locked down and only law enforcement in the area? Is the search still continuing?
Right now we're keeping it to law enforcement or approved search members.
And we also saw a chemical endangerment charge. You say that's separate from this case?
I haven't seen what the DA officially, whenever they had the hearing this morning, what additional charges they may have added.
But the original charge we heard about yesterday, that's still on.
Yes.
And the bodies of water water, I noticed there's small little ponds around. Have they all been searched?
They're working on that process. They dived some of the ponds yesterday, and they're working today.
And with the clothes he was wearing, long sleeves, sweatshirt kind of material, something that might keep
All right, Chihuahua.
or short sleeves, do you know?
I don't know how thick the material is that he was wearing. No, I do not.
Sheriff, are you still looking for volunteers?
And like I said, I'm never going to turn away anybody that wants to help. But one of the things that to understand is that, you know, we're not sending just a random volunteer that comes in out here to create additional hazards. Okay. So we're putting people who have experience in search and rescue. We're assigning volunteers with those individuals. Has been times where we have more volunteers than we have people with experience in search and rescue that we can put them with. So it creates people having to stay. You know, we're keeping it to, you know, if people want to help in the kitchen, if they want to help provide food, if they want to help provide resources like that, you know, the doors are open. The doors are open
That's
for
a good
volunteers,
point.
but I can't.
That's actually a good point, Sammy. The boy was not. They're saying that. Sammy's saying, according to what they think, the boy was not found, and the older brother may have been asked to go out there to take him to where he was last seen, and that's possible. So when they were walking back out, everyone's thinking, "Oh, he's been found! Eureka!" You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, it's him! It's the boy. When in actuality, it could literally just be his brother, who also, I'm sure, is rocking the same style of haircut, which is possible. But if it is him, if it is the boy, that's great. But then I'm wondering, where's the dog at? Did the dog just run off? Did the dog say, you know what? Life is not good in this home, and I'm going to set myself free, right? I'm going to go back to that presser here in just a second, but I want to pull something up that I saw that this is not good. This is not good at all. According to another Twitter account, and I'm just going to read this off camera. They're basically saying, or off screen, but they're basically saying that not only was Jameson Boley, the father, charged with counts of having, charges of having explosive, material, but also of chemical endangerment of a child. So according to the criminal complaints, the charges allege that on December 31st, New Year's Eve day, children were exposed to meth. That math, them crystals. One of the counts specifically relates to Jonathan Boley. These are felony charges under Alabama law. This follows the separate charge already discussed in earlier posts related to the boom materials found at his residence. So maybe that's the reason why he had boom devices strewn all across his property and in the woods across the street from his home, because he was trying to protect them crystals. Yeah. Wild. That matter is addressed in prior posts and is not part of the chemical endangerment charges filed today. These charges are separate from the ongoing search for the 4-year-old Jonathan Boley, and it did not mean that any conclusions have been reached about what happened to him. A criminal charge is an allegation, not a conviction. Of course, he has the right to fight this and say, no, that's not true. I have all that stuff in there and all that chemistry and all those chemicals for other reasons. He could do that. Okay. Now, of course, it's still his search. It still remains active, which is also very, 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 very interesting. Wow. Hold on. Now, here's the other thing I want to point out too, as well. Nerdy Addict, who said the little boy may have been found. Nope. He just removed that from his Twitter account. So Nerdy Addict just said, hey, boys may have been found, and he wasn't found. Because even Nerdy Addict just removed that from his own Twitter account. That gone now. So This is from Nerdy Addict too. I'm just share it with you guys because he just posted this 2 minutes ago, and I appreciate him doing that. Let's take a look at what he says. Yeah. So according to Nerdy Addict, he says the boy seen walking out of the woods in Alabama alongside searchers was initially believed to be Jonathan Boley. Authorities have since clarified that the child was his sibling, his brother. Jonathan Boley remains missing at this hour. So whatever that was being put out here, see, this is the reason why we can't just sit there and go, oh, that's, it's such and such, and it's this, that, and the third. Shout out to Nick, Nerdy Addict in the house. What up, man? Despite everything that is being said out here saying, oh, it's him. They found him. Nope, they have not. So they just rock the same hairdo. They're very close in age. They have the long blonde hair. So it does make sense that FBI or, the law enforcement, the powers that be would go and take this child and go, hey, you said that he was out here in this area, right? Okay, so can you take us there? And can you tell us exactly what you saw? So, and yeah, I would say that the sibling is clearly a bit bigger than his 4-year-old brother. He is 6 years old. So yeah, he's a little bit taller and a little bit bigger than his brother. But if that in the back of his head, if that is hair, he rocks kind of the same hairstyle. They both have long hair. So I can see people making that mistake if they don't know what police are doing. So I can see, whoever said that, you know what I mean, out there being like, oh my God, they found him. I get the confusion because these two kids look a lot alike, or at least their hairstyles. Blonde, they're boys, they're little. I can see the confusion. That confusion can happen. But, oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible. That is absolutely terrible. Because honestly, I was hoping that they'd find him. Shoot, I'd rather them find him now. See what I'm saying? Done. Kid found. Cool. We can move on and keep this kid and the other kid as far away as possible from this mother-loving person that claims to be their father. Let's be real. Regardless if this kid went missing or not, this father should not have had even 5 days. Even 5 days of visitation rights with his kids. It should have been, what's the word? What's the word when, I'm losing words, guys. Chaperoned, you know what I'm saying? When it's chaperoned, you feel me? So again, thank you, Nerdy Addict, okay, for putting that information, for clarifying that. I appreciate that. Now we can go back to getting the information and get back to this press conference because that was a false flag. Supervised visitation. Thank you. I'm losing words. Okay. I'm losing words. I'm sorry. Sleep is a very rare thing in my life. Okay. It's very rare. So yeah, sorry about that. Supervised visitations. He should be having supervised visitations, period. But apparently he out there, and I don't know if the wife knows, I don't know if the mama knows, but he out there cooking. That's what it sounds like. Possibly he could be a chef, if you get what I'm saying. Making them crystals. Blue magic, baby. You know what I'm saying? Some Heisenberg type stuff. Some Walter Whites. These kids should have never been anywhere near that home. You got boom booms on the exterior. You got boom booms inside the home. And then now they're saying, allegedly, he's being charged with other chemicals that were in there to make and put together meth. Have mercy. Let us continue with this press conference.
I promise you that you're just going to walk in here and we're going to hand you a vest, or you're going to get a vest and you're just going to go out to the woods. We may need you 5 hours from now. We may need you tomorrow. Like I said yesterday, if this thing drags out days. I don't need people getting burnt out over time. We need people that are going to stay committed to this search until we bring John home.
Sheriff, yesterday at your last news briefing of the night, you had mentioned that the FBI was following up on additional leads. Can you tell us how involved is the FBI in this investigation, and have those leads that they were following, anything came from that?
Yeah, I can't speak on what leads that they have at this time, but they are very involved, being very helpful, along with SBI, and we've got, agencies from all over the state of Alabama here helping today.
How big is your search area today? You said 500 acres yesterday. How big are we today?
I don't know until they get done of how much they're able to get in the search area.
Have the dogs hit on any scent near the fence line that he crossed?
Sir?
Have the dogs hit on any scent where he allegedly crossed the fence line?
Not that I'm aware of. So, but that's all the questions that I'm going to take. So, like I said, if we'll update you maybe later this afternoon if we get any more additional.
It's a damn shame.
Thank you, guys.
It's a damn shame, y'all. I'm angry. I'm gonna be real. I'm really angry because I was hoping that this kid was gonna be found. I'm gonna be real. I was really hoping that this kid was gonna be found and that we were gonna be like, okay, he's been found. Okay, we're gonna get him as far away from this father as possible and get his brother, his 6-year-old brother, as far away from his father as well. Keep him in the custody of his mother. And see, here's the other thing too. I'm going to ask though. I'm going to ask it. Does the mom not know what her ex-husband or ex is doing in that home? She's not savvy to what's going on? Because clearly, if she's sitting there going, my kids are only allowed to see you 5 days out of the year. Out of the year! 5 days! That's a lot, guys. You'd think she knows what's going on. You got things getting cooked inside the home. You got boom boom devices. It sounds like some of them were duds on the exterior of the home. And now you got a kid missing. Why? How would she not know that her, I don't know, how would she not know? She moved to a whole other state too, guys. Yeah, mama. Yeah, Mama Bear. I agree. Courts do not protect children. Not at all. Okay? They don't. They do not at all. And Nerdy, thank you again for that correction or that information. Yes, apparently the dad is cooperating with the police. We already know he's been arrested for connections to these materials that make things go boom. So again, Jonathan may have just gone missing because of an outside source. You never know. There might have been some tweaked out mother lover out there in the outskirts of the home, maybe trying to get in there to get a hookup or something of that sort. Thought maybe they could take the baby and use it as ransom for more crystal. I don't know. But if the house is like a house where he's cooking, if he's straight up cooking in that house and he's got boom booms all over the place, backyard and in the woods across the street from where he lives, clearly you got tweakers, right? Addicts moving over there, walking over there like the Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get a fix. Like I said before, I was like, what is he doing? Why would he be having those type of devices all throughout and inside the home? Why? Why would he have that kind of stuff? What's he trying to protect? And clearly he's trying to protect that crystal. And those kids were subjected to that material, to the crystals, and like the material to make the crystals and the crystal. And then on top of that, they're also subjected to the dangers of something going off. And it's on two different levels, guys. If you really think about it, it's the house going boom, boom because of the devices that he's putting together to protect the home from people trying to get in to get the crystal and the actual material to actually make the mother-loving crystal. I don't think you realize how very flammable and how volatile those materials are. Just so you know. It's insane, y'all. So you got it's like a double whammy of all kinds of bad things. This is just insane. It's just insane. But let's continue on. Because I know I know all of us have a lot of questions. We had a false flag, a false alert. Just so y'all know, there was a false alert, which is sad because that's not what we want to hear. We want to hear this kid being found, period. But let's take a look at some other stuff here.
Five-year-old Jonathan Boley is still missing, and his dad has been arrested and charged relating to materials found in and around the home. Sheriff Nick Smith says explosives were also found in the home. But deputies are desperately trying to find Jonathan, who they say was last seen New Year's Eve at around 11:30 in the morning playing with his 6-year-old brother and their dog. We do know the Walker County Sheriff's Office got a call about a missing child at around 12:28 Wednesday, which is about an hour after Jonathan was last seen. We also know search crews have used thermal imaging drones to see if Jonathan is in the woods or under some kind of structure. But so far, nothing has been detected. Now, anyone with outdoor cameras on Highway 195 north of Jasper is asked to check their security footage. And remember, Jonathan was wearing a yellow Mickey Mouse shirt, black pants, and Paw Patrol shoes. If you know where he might be, you're asked to call 911.
Okay, now here's the thing. I'm going to say this. Is that I'm reading the comments, right? And y'all are putting in this information saying that, I'm going to see. But like all this... These false flags are just getting okay. Let me just check. Let me just check here. Because now people are saying he was found gone. Where's the news conference? If there's a news conference, I'd like to see that too. And just so you know, Bob, thank you so much for coming into the show. WBRC. This happened in the state of Alabama. WBRC. Let us see. Let's see. Hold on. WBRC 6 News. Whoops. That was loud. Okay. Is this really an update here?
County Sheriff's Department, I want to provide an update.
Okay.
In our efforts to locate Jonathan. Jonathan was last seen midday, October 31st. Since that time, we've had an extensive search. Investigators and volunteers have man, you guys have been awesome searching for Jonathan the last 2 days. I can't brag on volunteers enough and what you've done and what it means to me and what it means to the Sheriff's Department. With that being said, it's with great sadness that I'm here to announce that we have located Jonathan, and Jonathan is deceased.
Okay, so there it is. Jonathan has been, okay, I'm sorry. I needed to hear it from the police. I needed to hear it from them. So this is only a few minutes. So they're very quick with this. But he has been, so just so you guys hear it, breaking news, Jonathan Boley's body has been found. And he has been found deceased. Now, I'm wondering, was the dog found near him? Was the dog still alive? Is the dog deceased as well? Let's hear that.
Buck is still with Jonathan. Buck is alive.
Wow, that's so sad. I'm rolling that back. So Buck was with. Oh, that's so sad. Buck stayed with 4-year-old Jonathan. The dog was still alive.
Buck is still with Jonathan. Buck is alive. He was found about 2 miles from the home. Like so many of you across our community, we're devastated, and we're devastated by this news. Jonathan was an adventurous boy, and he loved the outdoors. I ask you to be respectful to the family. It's this is going to be a very hard time. It's going to be a very hard time for our community. It's going to be a very hard time for the volunteer team that did an outstanding job to find them. This is this is not the outcome that we wanted to see, and we were hopeful for a positive outcome. But again, I can't thank you enough for taking your time and showing this family the support that you've done. It means more to me, and I'm sure that it means a tremendous amount to the family. Again, like I said, just be respectful of the privacy of the family. Obviously I've got to make this update and let everybody know. As far as the media is concerned, I'm not going to take any questions at this time.
Come
We've
on.
got work that we got to continue to
I mean,
do.
I get it, but
And once we get a little further
into
that work, I'll do another update to update everybody where we're at. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I got a lot of questions because here's the thing. Boy was found. John was found gone. Dog is still alive. Dog stayed with John, which is just, I mean, it's sad. But now I got questions. What was the matter of his death? How did he lose his life? Dog was unharmed, but Jonathan is gone. Why? How was he found? What's going on here? Was it some sort of thing where somebody put their hands and you could see that somebody put their hands on Jonathan? Was it a GSW? What exactly is it? 2 miles away from the home. That's where the body was found. 2 whole measly miles. 2 whole measly miles from the home. So what happened? Could it be that he lost his life due to nature? He got lost and he just didn't know how to get back home? And that's what happened? That he starved? It just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Again, breaking news. Jonathan Boley, 4-year-old Jonathan Boley has been found. He was found gone. He clearly was in a wooded area about 2 miles away from his home. 2 whole miles, y'all. But how was he found? Right? And what condition was he found in? Buck, the family dog, or, the father's dog, is still alive. And the dog stayed with Jonathan. I mean, yeah, it could have been hypothermia. It could have been the elements of nature, just being outside. It could be that too, but something about this seems weird. Could it just literally just be because he was so cold and he just couldn't find his way back home? That is just heartbreaking news, guys. Let me see if there's any more information.
Miles from the home.
No, that's
like so many of you across our community. We're aware Devastated, and we're devastated by
How
this
did he?
news. Jonathan was an adventurous boy, and he loved the outdoors.
Sorry, y'all. This is just terrible.
County Sheriff's Department.
Hearing this kind of stuff, it just, it makes your heart hurt. One second, y'all. I'm just seeing if there's any other news reports stating, because maybe there's some more information that was said. So maybe when the little boy was being carried, out of the brother was being carried out of the woods, maybe that's when they found his remains, and that's why they kind of all booked it, I mean, and then if that's the case, imagine being the 6-year-old brother. Like, my heart hurts for the 6-year-old brother, because now you got the 6-year-old brother going out there and seeing, possibly seeing his brother, seeing Jonathan in this way. It's just, it's very, very sad. But again, guys, just so you know, breaking news. Jonathan Boley, 4-year-old Jonathan Boley, has been found. His body has been found. He was found gone. Let me see if I can get some more information here, guys. Jesus. What is going on with our world? What is going on with our world? Oh, man. So they say the body of 4-year-old Jonathan who went missing, has been found. They confirmed the remains of Jonathan Boley have been found today, this morning, just a couple miles outside of his home. Like so many of you across our community, were devastated by this news. Jonathan was an adventurous boy and loved the outdoors. Smith did not offer any more details on the case, adding that the investigation was ongoing. So of course, we already know about the dog and him being last seen walking away into the woods, away from his father's property off of Highway 195 in Jasper, New Year's Eve, close to noon, like almost the afternoon time. And of course, now he has been found today, 2 days later. I guess technically about 3 days later, he has been found 2 miles away from his home. And I feel like the environment in which this young boy was living when he was visiting his dad, which was only 5 days out of the year, that kid was already subjected to something tragic happening to him. I hate to say it like that, but you have 2 children that were in a cookhouse, in a meth house. I'm going to say it. You got a guy who is cooking because apparently there was chemicals that were there to make crystal. So you got that going on. Then you got him making homemade boom boom devices inside and outside the premises of his home. What? So you got all kinds of bad things happening all at the same time. This kid was subjected to something tragic happening to him because of the parent that he had. I'm sorry. I don't want to pass judgment on anything, but at the same time, when I hear about chemicals on top of chemicals on top of chemicals, and all of them are volatile to some certain extent, anything could have possibly happened. The whole place could have gone up in one big kaboom, because you just have very volatile chemicals in the same space at the same damn time. This is when I start wondering, and I'm going to ask it again, how did the mama not know that daddy was doing this kind of stuff? And if she did know, she should get in trouble for this ish too. You sit there and like, oh, it's fine. You can go back. go back to this home. Are you out of your freaking mind? If that house was really what they said, a cookhouse, if that's what these claims are saying, because literally I'm reading from this article as well, and it says, and I'm just going to read it off screen here, but it says, since his disappearance, the father, Jameson, has been arrested and charged with previous warrants of chemical endangerment and unlawful manufacturing of destructive device. So what? That clearly tells you that he had a whole lot of stuff in that home that were not kid-friendly at all and should not have been anywhere in the presence of any child ever. And Marissa just said the judge gave the father visitation rights. He should not have had visitation rights or unaccompanied, unsupervised visitations, because I just learned that back again, guys. Supervised visitations. I just totally forgot about that word for some weird reason. But at the same time, it is absolutely insane to me that he was even allowed to have 5 days. 5 days, y'all. I don't know. Was he leaning on the fact that, like, I'm ex-military, sir. I served my country. And the judge was like, well, thank you so much, sir, for your service. So I'll just give you 5 days. He gets 5 days a year, everybody. Case, court adjourned or whatever it is. And then he just raps the gavel, right? It's ridiculous. Not only was Jonathan in dire straits or in serious trouble, that 6-year-old brother of his as well was in serious trouble. Something was bound to happen. That's insane to me. And what's sad is we still do not know how his remains were found. We do not know the condition of his remains. All we know is that this 4-year-old little boy is gone. And his best friend, Buck, the family dog, stayed right by his side until he was found. That is some sad stuff, y'all. Yeah, no kidding, Dolores. Let me just get to these super chats here too. But yeah, you gotta, and I'm kind of waiting out to see if there's anything more, like anything else that's being said. But here's the thing. First off, Dolores, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yes, it is very, very heartbreaking. And yeah, what a faithful dog. I mean, definitely, when a dog, when you imprint with your animal, it is something serious. It is a bond that you cannot even explain. And it just breaks my heart that this is how this happened, Just really breaks my heart. It's so sad. It's very sad. But again, like I said, I don't think that the elements that this kid was put in were going to make him win. And I hate to say that, but he was put in a bad situation to begin with. And then the other part it makes me wonder is, why wasn't he attended to? Why wasn't he being watched? You can't trust just a 6-year-old brother to keep an eye on their 4-year-old brother. It's a 6-year-old brother. It's a 6-year-old kid. It's a 6-year-old kid. There's only so much you can do. There's only so much a 6-year-old kid can do. That kid's going to be like, ooh, something shiny. They still 6. They're still 6. So where was the dad? What was he doing? While this 4-year-old boy allegedly went across the street and walked into the woods with Buck in tow. Yeah, Heather. Buck cared more about that child than the dad did. I'm sorry. It just angers me, man. Some people should not have kids. I'm telling you, they should have a license to children, right? They should have a license to sire. How's that? Because this is ridiculous. Yes. I mean, yes, that's true. Hold on, I'm going to get to the super chats here in a second, but hold on. Where did it go? Cat named Rat. Interesting. What's up, Rat? What's up? So you said, I don't know, Pascal, kids do wander off very quickly. Sure, they do. But at the same time, come on, think about it. Think about it. They were outside. You mean to tell me that he's not out there with the kids? The last person to see Jonathan alive is his 6-year-old brother. And he said, yeah, I saw him going underneath the fence across the street, going into the woods across the street. So again, I'm sorry. What was the dad doing for so long that he would not see his son walking across, 4-year-old son walking across the doggone street all by his lonesome with his dog named Buck in tow? Make that make sense. It's a 4-year-old kid and a 6-year-old kid outside running around. Like instantly I'm going, you're watching. And I'm thinking that same thing too. Classic. I'm thinking he was out there just getting high, just getting zooted, straight up, chasing that dragon. Yeah, Danielle, we just watched the press conference. It was like 2 minutes long. So I know a lot of y'all just hopped in and y'all telling me stuff that we already know. But still, I appreciate you coming in and telling us about the press conference. It already happened and we just watched it. Okay. Yes, Wolf, we do know that the boy was found deceased. We already know. But like I said, I want to know how he was found deceased. What was the condition of his body? What happened to him, right? In fact, let me change this doggone. Let me change this right now so everybody knows. Just real quick, because I know now it is not missing little boy anymore in the title. So let's just do that right quick. Bang. For everybody in the nosebleed seats, just make sure you hit the refresh button on your page so you can see for yourself. Little boy has been found. Jonathan has been found. I'll repeat that again. And it is breaking news, so I'll repeat it a couple times, okay? Jonathan Boley, 4-year-old Jonathan Boley has been found deceased. Buck the dog was still with him when his body was actually found, which makes it even more heartbreaking. Buck was still alive too. Now, if there is going to be another press conference, it may be a few hours from now. Reason why is because they just retrieved his body. They still have to do their due diligence. They still have to find out what's going on. They got to find out what his manner of demise was too. They don't know anything yet, unless it's very blatant. Like if there's a puncture wound or some sort of GSW anywhere on his body, that would be something that I think is important. But there's a possibility that he went out into those woods and then he didn't eat, right? Maybe he starved. Maybe it was the elements of nature, being out there in the cold with nothing else but the clothes on his back, trying to get through 2 nights. Let's see. New Year's Eve night, New Year's Day night, and it's today. So it's 2 nights of him being out there battling the elements of cold and just straight up nature. So he may have just froze, which is possible. But still, nonetheless, the crime that was committed, the crimes that were committed to this child, it makes me speechless. because no children should be subjected or put in a situation like this at all. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. First off, Dolores, thank you so much for becoming a member. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep repeating, and I'm gonna keep checking. I'm gonna keep checking to see if there's any more updates or any new follow-ups to this whole thing. Okay, but right now, hold on, I'm checking this too. I'm going to check. There's some more updates or another article. We're going to check that article here in a second. But again, thank you so much, Dolores, for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much. Let me get some of these super chats really quick. Okay. So again, let me say this again, guys, actually, before I put this up, breaking news. 4-year-old Jonathan Boley has been found. He was found 2 miles away from his own home in a wooded area. Buck, the dog, was found alive next to Jonathan's remains. Now, how he was found, the condition of his remains, etc., we do not know. He may have starved. He may have froze. You see what I'm saying? There's plenty of possibilities here that we do not have the answer to. Police were sitting there saying, the investigation is still ongoing. We will talk to you guys in a little bit, kind of thing. So they didn't give us much information except for the fact that this boy was found and this boy was found deceased and that the dog was still alive. That's what we know so far, okay? But let me get some of these super chats. Samantha, thank you so much for the love. I really do appreciate it. Hi, Pascal. Thanks for covering this. I was curious, have you looked into the missing 411 cases? I don't know what that is. Into the missing 411 cases. This is eerily similar to those cases, especially near remote rural areas, if in fact the father is proven to not be involved. Yeah, well, that the jury's still out on that, right? As far as him being involved. And if it is true that Jonathan went on his own accord across the street with the dog and all that, that's still possible too. I think that is possible. I think the crimes that the father committed here are not only just the chemicals and the devices that were found in and outside of the home, and the fact that he turned his house into a cookhouse for Crystal. He also neglected his children. That's child neglect right there. This kid should still be alive and breathing, running outside with his 6-year-old brother and playing with his favorite dog, Buck, but he's not, because negligence is definitely a culprit here as well. That's just my thought. Now, 411 cases or 411 cases, I don't know that. The missing 411 cases, I don't know that one at all. I don't know that one. If anybody knows about it, please let me know. Put it in the comments, because that's new to me, Samantha. I appreciate the super chat, though. And I'll look into it and see what that's all about. Real talk. Jasmine, thank you so much for being a member for over 14 months. I appreciate it. Happy New Year, Pascal, and my favorite mods. Yeah, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the love, and to all my mods. You guys are all incredible. Thank you always for holding it down. And yes, cheers to a fantastic, and I hate to say all this right now during a sad moment right now, but at the same time, to a fantastic 2026. Let's get what we want this year, right? But do it right and do it legally, okay? So again, thank you so much for the members chat. Star Fury, thank you so much for the love. It could have been the cold. 2 miles is what we used to run for my Army fitness test. He probably was wandering in the dark. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, I think it could have been a combination of not eating, the conditions of weather, etc. But it is Alabama. I mean, does Alabama get really that cold at night during this time of year? It is the South. I'm not sitting here saying it's Florida, but at the same time, it is Alabama. So how cold does it get over there? You know what I mean? It's just a question. But Star Fury, thank you so much for the love. Cindy, thank you so much for the super sticker. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Serenity, thank you so much for the love. The dog was a lab. Wouldn't the dog be able to lead the boy home? It's a weird situation to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the dog being able to lead the baby back home. He's 4. Let's not forget that. The baby is 4. So you never know. Is 4-year-old kid, everything is still like, ooh, what's this? What's that? What's this? You know what I mean? This is not a child that's maybe thinking in a more practical way. It's 4 years old. So the dog may be trying to lead him back home. It might have been a struggle. It might have been tougher to try to lead a 4-year-old back home. You see what I'm saying? So something to think about. But that is a good question. Crochet, thank you so much for the love. Appreciate it. I have 3 teenage boys and I go with them everywhere, let alone a 4 and 6-year-old. Yeah. Shaking my damn head too. I'm gonna be real. This is just absolutely insane. Sammy, thank you so much for the love. Buck is a true guardian over John, even in his passing. Yeah. Shame on the system for their neglect and on the irresponsible father to be given that chance to begin with. Let's be real. The fact that the father has even been given that opportunity to even have 5 days with the kids. You'd think that, okay, if you're going to cook, if you're going to have these boom booms, okay, I got kids. I'm not going to do these things. I need to store these things away, make sure they're far away from the home, whatever, right? Dismantle the devices, whatever you need to do, right? But no, he still had those things available. Why? That's bad. That's really, really bad. He's got a lot of explaining to do. Dolores, thank you so much for the love. I'm inspired by your care, by your caring for others. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. If we all got to do it at some point, you know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to push that type of narrative out there. Care for everyone as much as we can, right? Now, we do have and thank you all for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. But let's take a look at this. This is another article that just came out. Authorities, of course, we just found out that 4-year-old Jonathan Boley has been found. Dog still alive, found next to Jonathan Boley. All right. So, of course, they're saying that he has been found. And it was stated in this press conference. The boy's father, Jameson Boley, has been arrested on a separate explosive related charge and has been charged with 2 counts of chemical endangerment of a child. So chemical endangerment right here is what they're talking about of that crystal. Not only just the boom booms, but also crystal, because apparently, from my understanding, he was cooking. So he was doing that Walter White. And that's the reason why he had all those boom booms, those devices all the way around his home and inside the home too. And I think he thought all of them were active, but some of them were duds. And thank God they were. Because these kids, if they're running amok like this and they're not being tended to, this was going to be an absolute, like I said, this could have been a much worse situation, guys. So we already know about him, where he was found, what he was last seen wearing. And here's the other thing, too. He was last seen wearing just a shirt, black pants, and shoes. So if it got cold outside, and I'm thinking that it has to do with that. I'm thinking the elements of cold, elements of nature have something to do with his demise, because he was only wearing a yellow Mickey Mouse shirt and black pants. He didn't have like a jacket on or a coat or anything. And again, I don't know how hot or cold it gets in Alabama, but I'm assuming at night that temperature drops. That temperature drops. So of course he was with his 6-year-old brother and their dog when he and the dog disappeared. All right. And we already know about the explosive devices. Then, of course, we heard about this, saying that the neighbors have been hearing explosions for weeks now. They didn't really know where it was coming from. The morning before, before the morning before the missing persons report came in, one of the neighbors reported that they heard an explosion about 4 a.m. that morning. But again, that could have nothing. That may have nothing to do with the disappearance or what caused Jonathan to disappear. 4 o'clock in the morning, something went off. So in other words, homeboy Jameson, that's the father's real name. Jameson was out here probably with friends, just getting high and just setting things off because he can. And he's like, F it. Tomorrow, well, I mean, you never know because it's 4 a.m. on New Year's Eve day, right? So he's probably like, it's New Year's Eve. We might as well blow some things up. Yuck. And he blew some things up. So yeah, he was probably, getting high on his own supply. Ain't that something? Yeah, this stuff just aggravates me, man. The mother went to Alabama from Florida on Wednesday evening and is cooperating with authorities. According to the sheriff, the father was interviewed by FBI on Wednesday, he said. I mean, again, the parents are separated, and the child's mother moved to Florida last year, which we already know about. And part of the agreement, their custody agreement, is that the father was given 5 days a year for visitation, and that's it. Because it sounds like he was a very, very bad man. And it sounds like maybe, I don't know, I'm just assuming, but it sounds like maybe she was trying to get clean and she wanted nothing to do with him. She was trying to get away. And because of his wild antics and the things that he has hobbies in, which is cooking and God knows what, she's like, okay, you only get 5 days. But I'm going to live over here, far away from you. Yeah, guys, like I said, this is just, we live in a time where I truly think some people just need to have a license to make babies, to parent. Because making babies is fun. But then as soon as the babies show up, suddenly there's this lack of responsibility, lack of care. You just think, oh, he's 4, he's fine, he'll be able to run around. Nothing can harm him, but you have explosives outside your home and across the street from your home. Like, come on, y'all. It just, like I said, there's a level of stupidity like I've never seen before in my whole entire life. And I just think it's really, really, really dumb. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Hold on. Just checking something here. So again, guys, I am, it's a very disappointing turn of events, right? This whole thing's very, very disappointing. And poor little guy. This is very, very sad. But this also should be a big reminder that one, the system is very, very messed up. When it comes to family situations, when it comes to family law, when it comes to these kinds of things, it is very, very sad because at the end of the day, it looks like this person, the mom at least, was trying to get as far away from this guy as best as possible. That's what I think. But the courts still allowed him 5 days out of the year which says a lot, by the way, but 5 days out of the year to see his kids. And I'm not sitting here saying that he should not be able to see his kids, but all of it should have been supervised. The system hurt this kid. But then it's not only just the system. It's also the people that are raising the child as well. Instead of this father being responsible and cleaning up his act, he continues doing what he was doing with ill regard of his children's safety. Because here's the thing, this story could have been the same, but his 6-year-old son's name could have been the headline. But then I also say, and I already said it earlier, but I truly think that those 2 kids could have been a headline in a newspaper any day because of what he had in and outside that home. So I'm hoping that they throw everything, including the book, the whole library, at this man. Yes, he may not have anything to do, with how his son was found. He may have nothing to do with his demise, but he has everything to do with taking safety and throwing it out the window for both his kids. And also, he neglected these kids. It's full on neglect, top to bottom. That's just my thoughts. May Jonathan rest in peace. Buck is one hell of a dog. And get that 6-year-old boy as far away from those parents if they have to. Because if the mom is just as bad, get that kid as far away from danger as possible. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Just aggravates me, guys. We must be protecting our children at all cost. Protecting children at all cost. Man, the system's messed up. But anyway, please do me a favor, guys, before you head out. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Happiest of New Year's to every single last one of y'all. We got a lot to talk about, so get ready because the news is still newsing. Things are getting wild out here in these streets. So please make sure you hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you are watching on these other platforms. And if you are watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. Also, make sure you're subscribed here on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips and Pascal Raw. Make sure you're subscribed there as well. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is really random, all right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member if you want to support the channel, or if you want to support the channel even further, go check out my Patreon. Check that out too. Support over there too. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com, all right? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Sad news, but hopefully this kid just gets justice as soon as possible. We'll be talking here soon, okay? Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.